A very warm welcome in the class of Mathematics 3. Today we are going to start a very interesting topic from the context of not only mathematicians but also from the computer science background. The topic is number theory, and in the first lecture, we are going to discuss the introduction to number theory. Myself Rupak Bhattacharjee, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, GIS College of Engineering. So let us start our journey by a very beautiful car. So look at this. We are having a picture where there is a car. Obviously, from the picture it is clear that it is of some very old days, and one can observe this very beautiful thing and some conclusion he or she can draw, that is what a very beautiful bonnet the car is having. Or someone can observe or decide that a very beautiful structures of buildings are there at that time, and someone also can observe the attire of this person, that how much beautifully dressed he is when he is going to somewhere. And there may be some person who can observe this thing also, and this is nothing but the number of the car, and the number of the car is now CE1729. So if that person is just concentrating on the number 1729, like me, I'm not generalizing by you, because I know that there are huge potentials within you, that someone sometime can be very much important to this world regarding this discussion. But still, now I am that saying that this 1729, this number is not creating any interest to 99.9999% people. Maybe he is a famous mathematician or not, but proudly we can say that one Indian mathematician, young mathematician, has something different plan in his mind. So let us start our discussion along with that particular person. Let us have the gratitude towards that person. He is nothing but Srinivas Ramanujan. So when this person with his particular notebook, there is a glimpse you are seeing in this particular slide. He is our famous mathematician Ramanujan. He is Indian and he is very young at that time, but his contribution towards mathematics and especially towards number theory is enormous, is huge. So that person observed 1729 is a number which can be expressed as, if I highlight this part, this is the part of his own handwriting, we get that he has observed that 1729 can be written as in 9 cube plus 10 cube, that is 729 plus 1000, as well as it can be written as 12 cube plus 1, that means 1728 plus 1, that is the summation of the cube of two positive numbers. But the thing is that, what is the big deal in it? Now the most important observation what he has mentioned, that it is, that means 1729 is the smallest number expressible as the sum of two positive cubes in two different ways. Look at this, a very simple line is giving so many observations and informations. that it is the smallest number. 1729 is the smallest number which can be expressed as a sum of two positive cubes in two different ways. That means 9 cube plus 10 cube can be written, as well as 12 cube plus 1 can be written. There are other numbers which can be written by this way also, but 1729 is the smallest among them. And you will not believe it, but you have to go through the history, you have to go through the story, that when he was ill at that time, G.H. Hardy, the famous mathematician, went to his place to see how he is, and at that time he was actually traveling through a taxi, or they are calling it as taxi cab, and the number of the taxi cab was actually CE1729. And Hardy told Ramanujan that I came through this, and that is merely a number. Immediately at that instant, Ramanujan told this beautiful observation about 1729. So that is why 1729 is famous in this world as taxi cab number. So let us proceed. Look at this. It is a very famous statement of G.E. Littlewood about Ramanujan, that Ramanujan can play with numbers. Ramanujan can extract a beautiful observations from numbers. That is why he has mentioned that every positive integer was one of Ramanujan's personal friends. So there is nothing more than this what tribute one can give to the famous person Ramanujan. Now there are some classifications of number theory. We will go according to our requirement in the coming classes, but at the introductory part I just want to give you some glimpse and the essence of number theory, so that you can also be getting motivated for this particular topic. There are branches like analytic number theory, algebraic number theory, probabilistic number theory, computational number theory. But importantly, this is another way of seeing this, that there are Frank Nelson Cole Prize in number theory. So you can get the motivation from this also. But if you are motivated for prize, that is different. And if you are motivated for the subject or the concept, and prize will come along with it. So look at this American Mathematical Society in 2020, that means in this year, this Frank Nelson Cole Prize in number theory was awarded to James Maynard, and he is also having a big contribution in the field of number theory. So this is nothing but a very interesting thing for this particular topic. So now proceeding further, we are going to give you a there are immensely important observations, but I am just going to give you one beauty of number theory from this class actually. So we are now mentioning one is called Euler's totient function, and this is mentioned here by this sign. Sometimes this is mentioned by this sign also, and this is phi in Greek alphabet. So sometimes it is called Euler's phi function. What it tells? It tells that if for an input n, the count of numbers in 1 to n, this set is constructed for 1 to n, that they are relatively prime to n. So what is the meaning of relatively prime to n? It is also mentioned over here. The numbers whose GCD means greatest common divisor with n is 1. So GCD with n is 1 means if you are taking suppose 2 and 3, their GCD is 1, so they are relatively prime. And if you are taking 2 and 9, their GCD is also 1, so they are also relatively prime. So observation is, if both of them are primes, then they will obviously be relatively prime. But if they are relatively prime, it is not guaranteed that both of them are prime. But our requirement for this is relatively prime. So let us have some examples. The question is, what will be the Euler's phi function or tangent function for 1? So here n is 1. So this set will become only as 1. Now we have to check whether how many numbers are there that their GCD of this will be 1. So there is only one number 1 and 1 and their GCD is 1. So Euler's tangent function for 1 will be 1. Now proceeding further, we are going to 2. So first check this concept. GCD of 1, because when you are taking 2, your set will become 1 comma 2, this set. Now GCD of 1 and 2 is 1 and GCD of 2 and 2 is 2. So there are two possibilities. Among them we are getting only one possibility is going to give you the GCD is 1. So how many cases you are finding? Only one. So here also the tangent function will be 1. Now gradually when we are going or growing these numbers bigger, when it is 3, so your set is 1, 2 and 3. Check it. 1, 3 is 1, 2, 3 is 1, but if you take 3, 3, it will be 3. So it will never be 3. So we are getting two cases. So tangent functions gives you 2. In case of 4, 1 and 4 is 1, 2 and 4 is 2, 3 and 4 is 1, 4 and 4 is 4. So again all you are getting 2. In the similar manner, if you go to 5, this is very important to observe. Look at this. Up to this, if you see, you will get a pattern that is 1, 1, 2, 2. That means it seems to us that it is growing bigger, but it is not that. If you take 5, then GCD of 1 and 5 is 1, 2 and 5 is 1, 3 and 5 is 1, 4 and 5 is 1, and 5 and 5 is 5. So how many you are getting? 4. And when you are going to 6, it goes down to 2. So it is not that you are getting any pattern for this that it is growing. But the most important observation is, when you are taking a prime number p, then starting from 1 to p minus 1, all are relatively prime to this p. So Euler's tangent function for a prime number will be p minus 1. So if you are getting 2, 2 minus 1 is 1. When it is 3, 3 minus 1 is 2. When it is 5, 5 minus 1 is 4. But it is not true for 4, 6 or something like that. So this is the one important function in the field of number theory. So now proceeding further, what we get? Another problem. Our job is, rather your job is now making the thing pause and try to find out the interrelationship between these three numbers. The numbers are 100, 7 and 2. So if the question is coming to you that as you are getting two inputs 100 and 7, and if you are getting output 2, what operation actually you are doing? It is your job to observe. I know that it is someone's, maybe it is easy, for someone it may be something time taking, but for no one it is not something like that. It is not possible for him or her. Look at this. If you are dividing it, because it is written as a clue as divisor, then what you are getting, if you divide 100 by 7, then what you are getting, 14 into 7 is 98 and the remainder is 2. So are you taking the remainder? Let us take it for the next example. If it is 30 and if it is 9 and if you are dividing it, your remainder is 3. Okay, so for these two examples you can conclude that actually you are taking the remainders, and this is called modulo, congruent modulo. The written things The notations will be discussed, it is not a problem. The thing is that whether you are getting the concept or not. And similarly, if we proceed for another thing, if we are having two inputs as 3 and 11 and our output is 4, how we are getting it? Look at this, it is very important. It is little bit more example, or you can say that it is little advancement of the previous thing, because if you don't know the modulo, then it is not possible for you to understand. Now look at this, our job is to do this multiplication and then take the modulo with this given number, and if it is 1, then we can get this output as 4. Here in this example the output is given, but if the output is not given, then what is the thing actually? If the output is not known to you, that means you are searching for 3x in such a way you are dividing it by 11 and you are getting remainder as 1. So it is termed as 4 is modulo inverse, means for which you are getting 4 for 3 and for which you are getting 3 for 4 if you are dividing it by 11. Please try to understand it. For the next example, you can think about, if you are dividing 12 into 10 by 17, you are getting the remainder as 1. It means 12 is modulo inverse of 10 under 17, or 10 is modulo inverse of 12 under 17. Look at this. This is not a very tough thing to understand, because we can write it as ax is equal to 1 modulo m as per the general notation. But very important observation is stated over here. We can think that 15 also a valid output, as 15 into 3 means 45. If you divide it by 11, you will get 1 as the remainder. Then 15 can be also the output. But the problem is 15 is not in the ring 0 to 10. What does it mean? 0 to 10 actually in general we have to write it as 0, 1, 2, 3 up to m minus 1. So x has to be within this ring or within this range, and then only we can claim that it will be the modulo inverse of the given number. Look at this. We can take another example of 5x is equal to 1 and for modulo 11. Okay, our job is to find out x. Now look at this. If I take x equal to 20, what I am getting? 5 into 20, that is 100. If you divide it by 11, you are going to get 1 as the remainder, because 11 into 9 is 99. You are going to get 1. So 20 is the multiplicative inverse of 5 modulo 11. If I state this, I am wrong, because 20 also has to be within 1 to 10. Is it so? No. So we can't take it. Then what will be the modulo inverse of 5 under 11? So let us take x equal to 9. So what we are getting? 45, and 45 minus 1, that is 44, which is divisible by 11. So we can take x is equal to 9, and which also lies in this particular range. So the modulo inverse of this one will be 9. So these are the indications that you have to just practice and practice. Otherwise it is not possible, because though there are some general structures and general rules, but your ultimate job is to practice. Okay, so this is nothing but this definition what we are actually stating now. And one more information, it is sometimes congruent modulo is mentioned by these three lines, so it is better to use this one because it is standard. But while we are doing some programs, then we can use our own defined notifications. Another important observation for the motivational part of number theory, it is very famous Fermat's Little theorem. What it states, if n is a prime number, then for every a lies between 1 to n minus 1, a to the power n minus 1 will be congruent modulo 1 under n. Means if you are dividing a to the power n minus 1 by n, it will be divisible. Clear? So let us take some examples. First of all, our target is to take a prime, so 5 is taken as a prime, and then they are saying for every a lying between 1 and n minus 1, that means 1 and 5 minus 1, that is 4, what we are getting, 2 to the power 4 is modulo 1, 2 to the power 4 is equivalent to 1 modulo 5. So let us check it first. 2 to the power 4 means 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. So 16 minus 1 is equal to 15, and it is divisible by 5, so it is okay. Now 3 to the power 4, 81. Now 81 minus 1, it is 80, it is also divisible by 5. Similarly, 4 to the power 4 is 256 minus 1, that is 255, which is also divisible by 5. So for the prime 5, this is observed perfect. We are just doing the observations. Now if we proceed further for 7, then what are the things we need? We need 2 to the power 6, 3 to the power 6, 4 to the power 6, 5 to the power 6, and 6 to the power 6. All these we have to observe, and if you observe this, you will get 2 to the power 6 is 64, and 64 minus 1, that is 63, is divisible by 7. 3 to the power 6 is 729, so 729 minus 1, that is 728, is also divisible by 7. And in the similar manner, 6 to the power 6 is 4, 6, 6, 5, 6, and if you subtract 1 from it and divide it by 7, you will get 6, 6, 6 and 5, that is, it is divisible. So these two examples are actually supporting this theorem. We are not proving it, we are verifying it for these two examples. Now I am taking the screenshot of Princeton's University Math Club. Look at this. It is the famous university all of you know, and they are maintaining one math club where they are giving various informations and competitions and other things, projects, where number theory plays a vital role, where we are defining not from any textbook, we are defining it from the Princeton's University's math club definition, that they are saying number theory is a branch of mathematics devoted primarily to the study. What is the main target? To the study of the integers, their additive and multiplicative structures, and their properties that set them apart from other rings. Rings means the structure, because in the algebraic structure class you got this idea that what is ring. The structures with addition and multiplication we are talking about. Now look at this. Then they have given some other variations or something like that. So this is nothing but a branch which deals with mainly the target with the study of the integers. Now you have heard about the field medalist, our pride. Though if you search in Wikipedia, you will not get that he is Indian, but the connection with India of that person is huge. The person is Manjul Bhargav. You can search him in internet resources. You please follow him with his lectures and videos. He is a very interesting person and he is also making his classes interesting. Now we are going to give you one problem and you have to observe it very cautiously. This problem is stated over here. You can go through, as well as I am just giving you a little idea of this. If we are trying to build a rainbow building from n cube units blocks, then lastly, if there are 52 discarded cubes and n is the multiple of 11, what is the least positive value of n? So look at this. If we are not reading it out, if we are just checking, there are numbers, all are integers what you have to deal with. So this problem is nothing but a problem which can be tackled by number theory. And look at this, it is your VGR, that means the rainbow building is constructed. Another motivational example is something like that. Look at the number. It is 12 to the power 34 to the power 56 to the power 78, and you have to find out the remainder if this number is divided by 90 in your lifetime, in your coming generations lifetime, in your coming generations lifetime. If you are trying to find out the result by the straightforward manner, it is not possible, but it is a matter of a problem. We can divide it and we can get the remainder. Then how to find it out? These types of questions are actually the motivation of number theory. We will solve these types of problem in the consecutive classes and we will show you that it is possible. There are logics, there are tools in number theory what we can use. Next, there is a number 2017, but if you observe it very closely, it is not a number 2017, it is a number 2017 factorial. That means it is 1 into 2 into 3 dot 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 into 2017. What a big number it is. And if someone asks you that what are the last 2 digits of this whole number, is it a matter of joke to find it out? No. But we can find it out with the help of number theory. This is the beauty, this is the magic. So this is now the explanatory sign, not the symbol of factorization, that yes, it is possible. So now proceeding further, we are taking some examples of number systems and you can also compare it with the structure of this one. Look at this. We are mainly in the class of number theory. In our structure, we will deal with this thing, which is nothing but sometimes it is started as 0 and sometimes it started as 1. Accordingly, your definition you have to think it is n0 or n1, and this is the thing, set of natural numbers. Now if you consider all the negative numbers, then it is set of integers. Then if you are taking a by b, where a and b are integers and b is not equal to 0, means division is possible. And obviously you are talking about suppose 4 by 3, or you are talking about 2 by 7, something like that. Then they are rational numbers and they stays over here. After that, the real numbers, means if you are taking the concepts which are not going to be expressed as a by b form, where a and b are integers and b is not equal to 0, that is irrational numbers. So if you are combine them, you are going to get a real number. It is another way of seeing it, that the limit of a convergent sequence of rational numbers, it will generate a real number. So these are also real numbers and these are also real numbers. And then we are going for complex numbers, a plus bi form, where a and b are real numbers, something like that. One most important from the set theory concept, look at this. If you take the intersection of z and n, you will get n. That means n is completely inserted in z, so z contains this as well as this. Q contains this as well as this as well as this, means z and n are inserted in Q. So real numbers, set of real numbers are not only pi e or root over 2, it is pi e root over 2 1.333 minus 7 by 11 minus 2 minus 1 0 1, all are real numbers. And finally we are getting the set of complex numbers where everything is included in that set. So this is the biggest one what we are getting over here, a set of complex numbers. You can express any one of them in the form of complex numbers. So this idea has to be very much clear to us, because when we are going to deal with the classes of numbers theory. So next, another interesting information I want to share with you. In mathematics, Mersenne primes is a prime number. We know what are the prime numbers. Now we are now going to deep a little. That is 1 less than a power of 2. That means it is a prime number of the form 2 to the power n minus 1. So all prime numbers are of the form 2 to the power n minus 1. We don't know. But look at this. When we are checking, suppose we are taking n equal to 4. So 2 to the power n means 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. So it is 16. And 16 minus 1 is 15. It is not a prime. So all 2 to the power n minus 1 are not primes. But what we have to check, our target is to find out that those prime numbers which can be expressed, that is the prime number of the form this 2 to the power n minus 1 for some integers n. So the exponents, what we are getting it here, the exponents n which gives Mersenne primes are 2. So look at this, 2 into 2, 4 minus 1, you are getting 3. 2 into 3, 8 minus 1, you are getting 7. 2 to the power 5, 32 minus 1, you are getting 31. Then 2 to the power 7, 128 minus 1, that is 127, it is prime, and so on. But instead of all this, if you are taking arbitrarily without verification, you will take 4, and 2 to the power 4 minus 1 is not a prime. So this is very important observation as well as very important information for us. Now, why I am talking all this? Because look at this, there is a very important platform which is called the Great Internet Mersenne Prime Search. You can search it in your internet resources and you will get a very interesting, or rather so many interesting informations about this process. They have discovered the largest known prime number having 24,862,048 digits. It is not the number, it is the count of the digits. Means if the number is something like that, you have to count the boxes. The number of boxes will be this, because the prime number is having this much digits. So is it possible manually to find it out? Please concentrate, the students of computer science and engineering. It is not possible for us to compute without the help of logic implemented through coding. That is why we are giving this particular class to you, so that you can feel what are the importance in the number theory field of a computer science engineering student. So let us proceed further. Another interesting thing, a twin prime. Twin prime is that whether the consecutive two primes are having difference 2, that is called twin prime, like 41, 43. So if you take 3 and 5, are they twin primes? Obviously yes. So similarly we can get these examples of twin primes. The important question is, will it be finite? Will it be infinite? Is there any rule you can find out? Is there any pattern you can find out? Blah blah blah. So these are the parts where you can get this importance. Now a Fibonacci prime is going to be discussed. Fibonacci prime means a Fibonacci number that is prime. So what is a Fibonacci number? You know, if you start by 1 and then if you go for the next term is 1, the next term is generated by the addition of these 2, then 2 plus 1 3, 3 plus 2 5, 5 plus 3 8, then 13, then 21 and then 34 and so on. This is the Fibonacci series. I want to mention that this is Hemachandra series by Hemachandra numbers, because before, if you just calculate the time span of Fibonacci and if you calculate the time span of Hemachandra, both of them have the same discovery, but this time frame is older than the Fibonacci, so this must be named as Hemachandra numbers. But unfortunately, we always prefer to be mentioned by some, not to say anything like this. So let us proceed. So among all those digits 2, 3, 5, 13 which are coming in the Fibonacci numbers, if they are Fibonacci as well as primes, then they are called Fibonacci prime. So proceeding further, we are now going to give you another important observation with numbers. So it is not a very old date because it is in this year. This is the 2nd February. So what is the speciality in this? I know that you know this. If you think from this direction, you will get the same thing, 02022020. And observing this, we get also this. Look at the pattern. From whatever the direction you are following, you will get the same number is coming. And these types of numbers are called palindromes. And this is a term from Bengali, but this is famous all over the world. In Bengali, we are terming it as this. This is the famous thing for Bengalis. We don't know, there are so many controversies, but for this, Bengalis are going down, and for this, sometimes people are talking that Bengalis are going up. But if we are trying to write it in phonetic English, it will be something like this. And look at this. If you think from this direction or if you think from this direction, you are getting the same thing. So it is another example of palindrome. And what is the relationship between this palindrome with our numbers? We are getting some special thing, a palindromic prime. That means a prime number which is as well as palindrome. So these are the examples. If they are a single digit, obviously they will be palindrome. But if they are more than one digit, then 11, 101, you can think them from any of the direction, you will get the same number is coming. So I don't know how much successful I am by delivering the informations to you for number theory, but I am trying. Now another observation is that you know that it is Pascal's triangle in the class of recurrence relation. In the class of counting I have discussed this. Still, look at this, these all are ones. This is also in the form, if you form the boxes, then from this direction and this direction they are same. This is 1 plus 2 and this is 3, and look at this, 3 plus 1, 4, 1 plus 3 plus 6, that is 10. These observations are there. Another interesting observation is there, 4 plus 6 is equal to 10. So 4 square is 10 plus 16. So 5 square is 10 plus 15, and in this concept it is 10 plus 5, it is also 15. So in this way, actually, if you are looking at the Pascal's triangle, you may get some more observations which are not at all discovered. No one can give the guarantee that we have discovered all the patterns, all the informations from the Pascal's triangles. You can also generate triangular numbers from Pascal's triangles or not. So please concentrate on these beauties of numbers. So look at this, there are some more informations from Pascal's triangles. If you take the shallow diagonals, then you will get the sum to the Fibonacci numbers. Look at this, it is 1 and you are taking it as 1. Then if you are taking this shallow diagonal, then it is 2. If you are taking this shallow diagonal, it is 3. And in this way you will get 1, 2, 1, 1, then 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, which are nothing but Fibonacci numbers. And as it is symmetric, so if you get this from this direction, then you will obviously get it from this direction also. Now, yes, it is nothing but a poster. Dev Patel plays the role of famous Ramanujan, because we can't think out from Ramanujan if the topic is number theory. So it is the man who knew infinity, and to give tribute to this famous person, Government of India University Grants Commission has declared his birth anniversary as National Mathematics Day to greet all the great contributions to mathematics we have to follow. We have to maintain these as a student, as a lover of mathematics. Now, it is having very important applications in computer organizations, coding, cryptography, and so many things. You can just search and you will get more and more applications from this. But why we are taking this topic? What is the role of computer scientists in number theory application? The roles are, there are Millennium Prize problems, 7 problems in mathematics, which is stated by Clay Mathematics Institute on May 24, 2000. I am making it light, and a correct solution to any of the problem results in $1 million US. It will be awarded by that institute to the discoverers. It is not the motivation, but it is supporting. You can do, you please start. So finally, before concluding, I am just lastly going to give you another example which is known to you, but it is another way of thinking it. So look at this. If we are trying to find out the addition of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then what we are doing, it is another approach. Look at this. Here we are placing 1, then there are 2, then there are 3, 4, 5, 6. In the similar manner we have placed these circles over here, and in the principal diagonal position we have placed 7. So how many circles are there in this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, also in this. So from this pattern, if you count, there are 7 circles in a row and 7 rows are there. So from this point of view, it is 7 square. And from this counting pattern, if you count it in this way, it is 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. Similarly, from the upper part of this, and in the middle there is a principal diagonal 7. So this count and this count must be same. So what we get, we have marked the extra n plus 1 7 fables by the diagonals with black dots. So we get, summing them up, 2 into 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 up to 6 plus 7 is equal to 7 square. So generalizing, 2 into 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to n plus n plus 1 is nothing but n plus 1 whole square. So if you write the next line, that is taking this n plus 1 here, if you are taking n plus 1 common, you will get n plus 1 minus 1. So it is nothing but n plus 1 into n, and as there is a 2, you can divide it by 2 and you will get 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to dot 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 n is nothing but n into n plus 1 by 2. It is nothing but the summation of the first n integers. So look at this, observation makes the things interesting. We get this formula. Next, finally, I am to conclude this class. I have used various materials from internet resources. These are some of them, and you will get some more observations from Wikipedia and other resources, Princeton University, and so many things. And finally, I want to thank you all. And this pattern is also having a connection with number theory. If possible, please try to find it out. So concluding this class, happy listening, happy learning.